ready to make that perfect banana bread, the one which is moist and tender and deliciously good, it's perfectly spiced and just out of this world. I would describe my banana bread as a bite from heaven. I honestly would. It's so good. It's so good. It's like moist, absolutely soft, and absolutely deliciously tender. And it has little bits of banana in it, which enhance the flavor so much. It is really good, as you can see for yourself. Ooh. It is a deliciously defined banana bread. Hello everybody, welcome to Soul Kitchen. I'm Neetu, and this is the place where everything is cooked from the heart and from the soul. And where cooking and baking gives me so much pleasure. It's unbelievable. So let's start making this banana bread, and I'll show you just how easy it is and how you can get the best banana bread on this earth. Let's go. Okay, let's get started. Now we begin by whisking our butter. Now this is 100 grams of butter, which I'm going to start whisking with, and this is salted butter. Now I always like to use salted butter. I mean, mostly, not always, but mostly like to use salted butter because I think it just kind of balances the sugars out really nicely in the cake and enhances the flavors. So 100 grams of salted butter, start whisking. Make sure you scrape the sides out because we don't want any butter that has not been whisked. Scrape the sides with the whisk only, and we want this to be pale and fluffy. Once again, whisk from your, scrape from the sides, and just continue on. So it gets whisked for approximately a minute, and this is on a very medium speed. You don't want to whisk it on a very high speed because then the air which goes in isn't as stable. So when we are baking it, it will just pop out quickly. So on a medium speed. And one thing I forgot was to turn on my oven. So give me a second. See? Even pros make a mistake. But one thing, few things which you definitely need to keep in mind before beginning to bake. Turn on your ovens, have your butter and eggs or yogurt if you're using that at room temperature, and have all your ingredients out. Otherwise you're bound to miss something. It's happened with me so many times I can't even begin to tell you. So make sure all of these things are done, before you start. All right. The butter looks good now. I'll show it to you. It's become pale in color and it's fluffy. And now we're going to mix the sugar. Now this is brown sugar. So, and I'm making this recipe for, which is like a 1.5 recipe. So it's a little bit more, and the quantities are a little bit more. Everything is mentioned in the comments. But anyway, this is 1 cup of brown sugar plus 3 tablespoons. So I think this goes, oops. First we just mix it in slightly so that the sugar doesn't fly all over the place. And then we start whisking. Our task while whisking is to scrape down the sides every about every 20 seconds or so. Make sure the sides are scraped down so that everything gets mixed in nicely. And at this point I'm also going to add some vanilla. Now this goes about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And if you're using essence, because if you're in India and vanilla isn't so easily, pure vanilla extract isn't so easily found, then we use vanilla essence, and then you would use slightly less. You wouldn't use 1.5 teaspoons. You would use about 1.25 teaspoon, 1 1/4 teaspoon, because vanilla essence is a little bit too strong, and we don't want that cloy vanilla flavor. Okay. Our mixture is starting to come together. The sugar is starting to kind of melt into the butter and blend in really nicely, and that's what we want. And we're going to whisk this a little bit more, maybe for about another minute or so, and then we're good to go. Now remember, the sugar just has to be nicely incorporated in the butter, and that's where magic happens. I haven't made banana bread for a really long time, and I'm so excited about this. Now it's time to add our yogurt. I'm using 3/4 cup of yogurt in here. It's basically, 1/4 cup is equivalent to 1 egg. So if you were to use eggs, you could use 2 eggs and add 1/4 cup of yogurt, because yogurt adds a real nice softness to the cakes. I'm using 3/4 cup of yogurt. And add it in about 3 parts, about 2 tablespoons at a time. That way the yogurt isn't going to get curdled. Again, beat on a medium speed, not a high speed. And add it in slowly. And the last bit. This mixture is looking really good. And I think my mixing bowl may be a little too tiny for my cake batter. Anyway, we'll see. Mix everything nicely, and everything should be nicely incorporated into each other and nicely mixed in. Now, when you're using yogurt, after the last addition, sometimes the yogurt tends to curdle a little, but don't worry about that. It'll be perfectly fine once it's in the oven. No worries about it. get everything off your whisks, because these are part of your wet ingredients and you don't want them to be on your whisk and not being used. It's going to throw off the cake then. Alright. Now we start folding our batter in, our flour in, along with my bananas. As I said, I'm making a slightly bigger cake today. So these are 6 bananas. Now for a regular size cake, I would use 4. But since this is a bigger cake, I'm using 6 bananas. So here's the flour, which is 1.5 cups of flour. And baking soda. You may definitely want to make sure, when you're using baking soda, that, baking soda and baking powder tend to form a few lumps. So make sure those lumps are properly crushed in, because they're not going to get crushed. They're not going to, melt in the batter when we're mixing it. And they can be really nasty if it comes in someone's mouth. They can be really, really nasty. And the baking powder. Again, make sure there are no lumps. And we are using cinnamon. This is 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, and this is going to make our cake so gorgeous, so beautiful. And please use Sri Lankan cinnamon. Don't use Chinese, that's called cassia. Actually, it's not even cinnamon, but please use Sri Lankan cinnamon. That's the real cinnamon, and that's really good for you, as opposed to cassia, which is not actually good for you, which can be harmful to your health. And cinnamon is very beneficial for our health. The Sri Lankan cinnamon, that's got lots of antioxidants, and it's really good for our health. Okay, now to this little mixture, we're going to add part of our bananas. So we add the bananas and the flour, in alternating parts, so that it's all nicely mixed in. I'm truly excited about this cake. I haven't had this cake for at least a year now, and I'm really looking forward to it. And this is, the fun of baking. It's so easy, really. I feel, honestly, like I've mentioned in my other video also once or twice, I used to be really scared of baking when I started. And before I started, actually, not when I started. I used to be like, I knew I was a good cook, but I used to be terrified of baking. I was like, baking is a science, and I don't know anything about science. But baking is actually so simple. It's just so simple. It's like a child could bake. Really. It's like children could bake. And it's so much fun, and it's so therapeutic. Like, this is my favorite part right here. This is like therapy for me. It's meditation. Just folding in the flour, nice and easy. And by the way, let me show you how I mashed the bananas. They are just mashed in. They're not like, ouch. They're not, one second. They are not, these are just mashed in. They still have like little bits and pieces of banana in them. So, when they bake, it's going to bake up really nicely. You'll still get little banana pieces, and it's going to be really good. Okay, I hope our mixing bowl is enough. I'm so scared now. I hope it's just enough. I think it should be. I like these little things also. You get little surprises while baking, and you have to just kind of manage with them and deal with them. It's fun. Little challenges here and there. We're good. We still have to add our bananas, but I was like, let me just mix the flour in. before it flies all over the place. Just make sure the flour is fully incorporated. We don't want any streaks of flour or any lumps of flour here and there. We want everything, the flour, to be properly incorporated. Definitely don't want to over whisk it, over mix it, but not under mix it for sure. Yeah, this is looking good. And our bananas. Now, once I was baking, the first time I baked banana bread for my husband, he was so surprised that there were actually bananas which went in there. And like 4 bananas. He was like shocked. He was like, what? There are actual bananas in there? I was like, yeah, what do you expect? It's banana bread. I was like, 4 bananas? And I was like, yes, 4 whole bananas. This is 6 bananas. And this is like 1.5 portion of the bread. So it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited about this. I'm really excited, honestly. I'm like truly excited about this. Okay, people, our batter is ready and it's ready to go into the oven. Okay. Now today I'm using a glass pan, glass loaf pan. But I have often, mostly I always bake it in a tin pan. But today I was like, let me just experiment how glass works. So here I am. Let's see. My God, this looks so good, I can't tell you. This batter is smelling so good and it's looking just so phenomenal. I forgot to show you the consistency of the batter. One second. Yeah. So this is how the batter looks like. It's quite a wet batter. This is how it looks like. This is the consistency. It still has a little bit of give, but it's a little lumpy batter. That's what you're aiming for. Okay, now we're going to put this in our oven and just bake it nicely, and it's going to bake for about at least 50 minutes, and I'm going to bake it on the lower shelf of my oven, and the oven is preheated to 175 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's going to be like I said, it's going to bake for 50 minutes, and you'll see this wonderful thing in 50 minutes. Bye-bye. Our cake has baked and it is just looking so good and it's smelling so divine. It's just unbelievably, I mean, it's looking really good. So I'm just going to take it out. Wait, we need to do this gently. Oh boy. Okay, we're going to invert this. Slowly. Now, hot. Hot. Okay. Then put it over the dish where we're serving it. Easy, gently, gently. Alright, yay, success! Here we go. Oh my God, look how soft this is. Oof. It is really soft and really good. And now we're gonna do the taste test. Here it goes. Mm-mm. Oh my god. Mm. This, I'm telling you, is the ultimate banana bread. It is so soft, it's so tender, it is just so delicious. It's perfectly spiced. It's just so good. Oh, please make this recipe. Please try it. And I'm sure you're gonna love it. It's a family favorite in my place. And my family actually applauds when I make it. They're so happy with it and they love it so much. So please try it, and please follow along for some great recipes and good fun. And you've seen how easy baking it is and how enjoyable it is. So let's tag along and let's have some fun on the way. Please subscribe, and let's get on this journey together. So have fun baking, enjoy yourselves, and peace out.